Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. Basically an inside day with a new low here in the S&P. I'm nothing on the larger count that I shifted over yesterday. That stays the same. The labeling stays the same. Coming off though, if we're in an intermediate third wave down, it breaks down into 5 waves. Those would be of minor degree. That's that color. So that orange color. And what we may have done today with all of this inside and then a drop to a new low, we may have completed that minor wave 1. Minor wave 1. All right. So within this third are going to be 5 waves of minor degree. So we're on our way. If that's the case, we are in a minor second wave correction. Again, I know we're in corrections from now until a year from now. They will be continuing. But what we now need to track and to put our fibs up are for a minor second wave. And what we can look for is at least we're sitting right at that hourly 20. And we have resistance beginning at 39.68. I'm going to call it so 65.68. And then we have the 200, the hourly 200 EMA right here at 39.94. We have the 50 at 4,000. We have the 200 EMA at 4,020, basically. And then we start with fib resistance at 40.23, 40.52, and 4,081. That is respectively 382, 50, and 618, all percentages of this initial first wave. So wave 2 would meet 382 of wave 1 at 40, at 4,023, etc. Now, I think that, yes, we will continue to recover, relief, whatever the situation may be. And that so the focus really turns in terms of trading is not that people are trying to figure out what to buy or what to sell and everything like that, which they are, I'm sure. But it becomes more, the focus turns towards numbers, right? And towards the quadruple expiration that's coming on Friday. So that's futures options, equity options, everybody gets involved. There's expiration across the board and just about everything. So here in the circle of the S&P and the NASDAQ, there are AM options and then there are PM options. And that is the big thing. So we could see, this is the interesting part, where the market can pick up and rally towards Friday's opening and then reach a level, peak out, and then turn and drop like a stone. So again, what we're tracking Elliott-wise is a minor degree 5-wave structure down. No, excuse me. Yes, a minor degree 5-wave structure down. Within that, here's wave 1. So we're in wave 2, which is a counter trend. So we're looking to come up here anyway. If you go over and you look at the options, the ES options and the SPX options, you will come up into the in the monies or at the monies, and which is like closing at 39.46 in the SPX, 39.74 almost here in the future. But basing it on the cash market, you can go to the strike prices and you can begin to see where their open interest is. And then from that, start to get an idea. And this is just an idea of where the positions are and value. And as we progress towards Friday, either they have more value or less value. And they run the risk in the case of being a September 4,000 call, like September 16th, which is the expiration, 4,000 call when when the index is trading here, it basically has no value, but it has premium right now. Because can the index get to 4,000 between now and Friday? You betcha. Sure can, without a problem. Now, having said that, so I start to just feel that we have some larger numbers coming on Friday. In terms of, I think we have jobless claims. We've got a couple of purchasing managers, I think, or something of that nature. Hold on, I will find out exactly what we have on Friday. I've got it right there. On Thursday, we have jobless claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, retail sales, industrial production. So it's on Friday itself, we have nothing. Those are on Thursday. So we have some, again, numbers that could push us in either direction. But again, it's going to go to where the market believes it needs to go. So in other words, it's like, if you're holding these positions and you're going to run towards that level, there's a lot of that goes on in terms of making adjustments to positions that are going to be expiring. And it could be getting out of the position. It could be rolling the position. There are a lot of different things that can take place, but just the fact that it's moving in that direction pushes a lot of different things. And so we have 500 components in the S&P, 500 in the S&P in the cash market, right? We have 100 in the NASDAQ. So there are a lot of components all moving at the same time. Can the markets get there? Yes. Is there going to be a reason? No. It's all in my opinion, folks, it's going to be wrapped around expiration. Now, we just have to be able to trade it. So again, here's the call. Is as hard as it's going to seem, do not take a directional bias. Do not become bullish or bearish. You don't have to function in that. It's algorithmic. It's a number. There were plenty to trade in here. But it's then breaking it down and trading it on a much, much smaller time frame, but using the same principles and then using the same skills. I think that like today, it really was more set up for scalping. Small swing trades, but a lot of scalping. So maybe that's going to what continues tomorrow. But if it turns and it starts to come down tomorrow, then, first of all, let's go over this, and then I'll put the other fibs up. So again, if we're looking for a 2, we don't get real far before we run into sellers. So I'm thinking 39.75, we're going to run into sellers. So between 39.75 and 4,000, we're running into sellers. And if the sellers grow impatient because they're waiting for somebody to come up there because they want a little bit more value, if they have enough room where they can start selling and there's motivation, then it gets hit down. So in any case, if it starts to break higher, we've got the resistance points picked out. We know where the moving averages are. They're going to continue to provide moving averages. Yep, we got the 8 and the 4 going to react to all of this chop today. The 20 kind of turning higher. These kind of giving a little bit like, okay, we'll kind of put in a little bit of a flat move here and then either do this or resume. Now, I think if the numbers are going to line up to drive the market lower, and let me just go up, and I need to just put back the Fibonacci extensions for this third wave. So let me just do that now, change these around, put those down to there and go 1, oops, 1. Where's my 80? Come on. That's good enough. Oh, and up to here. Got it. All right. So the bigger picture tells us if we turn and start to come down, 3,900 is going to be our next support area. I think it's just a pause. And in the scheme of things, on the downside, it's a pause. Stronger support down below at 38.62, 38.36, and then we get where wave 3 would be 100% of wave 1 at 37.32, and I don't think that that's going to cut it. I think we got a lot more to go from besides getting down to there. And if that doesn't work, then what we have is the zone that I think that this third wave could end in. There's an intermediate third wave. And that's down here, 36.27, 35.62 down to 34.58. So some people call that a little bit harsh. I'm like, oh, okay, possibly. But in any case, that is the potential. That is the zones. Those are the numbers. And that's the way I look at. I don't look at it as bullish or bearish. I look at it, it's the number, and it's an algorithm. So, and that's where it all comes together in terms of the count, in terms of the moving averages, in terms of everything points back down to there. In any case, that's what I'm looking for here. I'm going to quickly go over to the NASDAQ and see if we can't check out with that one. And again, I think I'm going to go down. So nothing to change on that larger. This is the 4-hour larger chart. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. Open it up a little bit here. Here is the end of intermediate wave 1, intermediate wave 2, finishing up at yesterday's spike high as that number came out, CPI came out. Same deal. The NASDAQ has not produced a new low. So to me, this could be the completion point, or this could be the completion point. I believe that that's where it actually got marked for minor wave 1 of intermediate wave 3. So we're in a little bit better position where it looks like we already have done A and B, and we're just whipping out a C wave right now. Now, we're quoted down $10 on the opening right here, so nothing too great. So we're getting ready to open up the Globex. So we have additional resistance at 12,292. And then we have also the 200 SMA coming in at 12,321. We have the 50 EMA coming in at 12,332, etc. So if indeed this is going to be a second wave, and it's going to be a minor second wave, we could do an ABCA, ABCB, and still do a C wave, so it could take us even longer, and certainly get through tomorrow and the next day. That is not necessarily going to make the greatest trading conditions, but remember what I talked about with the S&P. A lot of what we happen when these little tiny ranges is like you become a scalper, and if that's not your style, then you might be making a choice just to hang off and not trade, because it's better not to lose a lot of money trying to make a little bit. So, okay, so in any case, I think we can continue to the upside, and that's going to be pullbacks notwithstanding. And these pullbacks are actually pretty big. This one almost makes this little ABC a flat, and we're right up into flat territory, so to speak. 12,260 would push us above the flat, and we can get there. So we got 12,093, etc., all the way up. Common would be 50% to 618. And see, I actually have both on here. So let me take that one off. And now we're just dealing with the upside. I had the others on, which gave us the downside. So between 38250 and 618, those are our levels. So yes, we dropped very strongly. Can we go back 62% and a retracement? Yeah, we can. And the NASDAQ, sure. Again, same basis. We have a quadruple expiration coming up on Friday. What influences this index directly is 100 stocks. Many of those biggest stocks within the NASDAQ 100 sit in the S&P. So what kind of is good for one is good for the other, and they kind of move together on that basis because the companies are so large. Okay, now, if we get tangled up in numbers and this comes down and puts in a new low, not getting real far, maybe down to 12,000, maybe just below it, and then rallies again, it's like it's going to put it into the same position that the S&P is in. Coming down, finishing wave 1, and then putting in the wave 2 rally. So here we sit in indecisive period, but I want to be able to include, here we have upside potential in terms of a minor wave 2. What's going to push it up there? Expiration. It's a number. That's it. We have now economic figures or economic data coming out tomorrow, and that could have an effect because it feeds into the inflation discussion and interest rate discussions. One affecting the other. What are we going to do? Are we, they kind of talked it up today that the inflation eased a little bit on the producer level. It's like, whatever. But meanwhile, on a retail level, on a consumer level, it exploded higher, way more than they thought. But we're supposed to take solace in, oh, yeah, well, producers, some of those prices came down. They're not passing it on yet. So, but it's better for stocks because they'll make more money. So they say. In any case, we have our levels, keeping it on the number. If it gets caught up in a downslope, I'm going to be looking, and let me just take these off real quick, go up to the 4 hour so that I can put in the others, and that's going to be for intermediate wave 3. We got there. Oh, no, come on, give me a break. Yep. 2. 1. And then up to this guy. Where are you? Thank you. So what we have coming off, if it gets caught up in it, first of all, if we're just coming down to finish minor wave 1, maybe 12,000, maybe a little dip below. I don't think it would get as low as 11,862, but I don't know for certain. So I have to let the market do what the market's going to do, but coming off, it should find some support. Again, 12,100, then 12,075, et cetera, and ultimately 11,981 should provide some a little bit stronger support. And then we have that low at, come on. Why don't I just go back to the hourly chart, he said, and then look at that low, 921. So those areas, I think this minor shouldn't take that out just yet, but it could. So downside, yeah, we can get it going and we have our levels, but these are for that larger intermediate third wave. We're only just trying to finish up either wave 1 and then a wave 2, but I don't think we're ready to start wave 3 down yet. So the third of that third, I don't think that's coming just yet. But again, if it does, it's going to show us that the weakness is that the buyers are not coming back. Right? That everything that was going to be done on the buy side got done today, and that was it. And then it's going to just dump again. I don't necessarily suspect that, but it is a possibility. All right, so we have both sides in both markets. My intent today was try to keep this a little bit on the shorter level. Again, when you're trading, do not have a bias. Try not to have a bias. Just trade the number. Again, I trade as a day trader, so therefore I'm not coming in with a position, nor do I go out with a position. I do all of my trading during the day, and that's it. So I trade off of a 2-minute, 5-minute, and then I check out on my hourly charts. I use order volume profile. And so I'm using the value area high and low and points of control, which do fluctuate. And in my mind, do sometimes even put us at like point of control is the mean, and then we can go up above and below to the value area low and high, but always return to the mean seemingly during the day. And those are very tradable. And again, here in the NASDAQ, scalping was the name of the ticket. And you had periods where the buyers just stepped in and they just pushed. And if you see that and you can understand the price action, you jump on and you can scalp it all the way up and you can scalp it all the way back down. So it wasn't impossible trading today. It wasn't always great to be a part. They were slow and it was choppy. So scalping. All right, I'm going to leave it all right there. And our next update will be on Thursday, the 15th.